If you're just joining me, feel free to put your city and state in. If you're out of the country, please put that down there as well. I would love to see that. And I'm just double checking that I'm on here. And let me see. I think I did it. That'd be awesome. All right, perfect, perfect, perfect. Hey guys, thank you so much for being on here. My name is Mike Healy. Appreciate everybody jumping on here. Kind of an impromptu thing that I've popped up. I wanted to make sure that I could get some stuff out. Who do I got on here? Let me see. I got let me pop some people's up there. Hey Yvonne, how are you? Put your name, city, state down there. I got your names. Put your city and state down here, and I'll pop you up and make you famous on these videos. I'm broadcasting on YouTube as well. I don't know if the YouTubes will fire in here. Paul, what's up, buddy? Let me get you up here. I think I got you on here. Excellent. I got Gary Schmidt. Let me get you on the screen as well, Gary. And I'm probably not going to take too long in the intro here because I want to probably pull the audio and put it on my podcast. So we're going to do that. And I got Ty Jackson. What's up, Ty? How are you, sir? Boom, there you are. You're in there. We got you. How's it been? Been good. Excellent, excellent. Got a lot of good stuff going on. And I got my screen ready to roll. Had a little technical issues there before I got started earlier. But I got some good things to go over with you guys. I got some the Bible in business. I got crypto chaos. I got leveraged income, new marketing platforms. So I'm going to go over some of these things with you guys and kind of give you some tips and so on. So let me all right, let me go ahead and get started if you don't mind, since I just jumped on here. And like I said, I'm probably going to broadcast this on both of my podcast channels as well as it's on my YouTube. So hey, YouTube peeps. And Facebook, I've got it pumped out there on Facebook. But hey, if you're new to my channel or my page, feel free to like, say hi, that kind of thing. And feel free, if you got comments, make sure you put comments below, whether it's live or recorded. I do get notifications on all those things, and we'll be able to respond to you and answer any questions that I might not cover here live. So anyhow, I kind of got inspired to do this Facebook Live today because this past weekend, I hosted the online, what they call the Provision Conference, which is an entrepreneurs conference that's broadcast all over the world. I believe we had close to 1,500 people watching live, plus there are people that will buy the courses and watch them recorded. So I had some pretty good nerves going. It was really cool because they had me in a nice studio with multiple cameras and people walking around, and I got to interview guests and so on. But it's my pastor who's a business person. He was a business person before he was my pastor. Puts this conference on, and Provision. He's always talks about what they call provision. Meaning you can't, unless your needs are met, you can't go after a lot of times what your vision might be, what your calling might be, and so on. And we do these conferences from a biblical perspective. So I was going to open up with some of this, and I'm not going to take a ton of time on it. But when I first started going to this church that I went to, I went for the first time, and I had just started. This was 23 years ago. I had just started a home-based business because I was looking for a way to get out of the bar business, right? And then I was going to a different church at the time, which didn't teach prosperity, didn't teach, anybody actually got healed if you prayed for them. It didn't teach faith, anything like that. It was kind of just going through the motions. And I didn't grow up in the church. I don't have no background in the church, that kind of thing. And so I came at it from a, I want to see evidence. I want to see proof, right? I don't just blindly follow somebody because they have a suggestion. And so what was cool is I was invited to come to this church at my pastor that I now go to of 23 years, his church. And he started talking about, the Bible and kingdom principles is what he called them. Meaning that when you get saved, or when you kind of come into the Christian family kind of thing, that there's a new way of doing things. There's a kingdom, right? And kingdoms have laws. Kingdoms have rules. Kingdoms are the same thing as, like, you could say, a government, right? Like here in the United States, we have certain things that govern what we do. And it's kind of like the law of gravity as well. Like if you step off a building, regardless of your ignorance of the law of gravity, you're going to fall and hit the ground probably and get hurt, right? So he had pointed out that there were actually biblical principles and laws in the Bible that you could actually tap into that were put there for our benefit. And I was like, okay, I'm scratching my head and I'm like, this guy's starting to make a little sense. I mean, if I could tap into some of this biblical stuff. And so I ended up getting this Bible for, I think I was 40 or maybe 30 years old. You can see it. I keep it together with duct tape now. So, and the pages are kind of all ripped up and things like that. But that's kind of what's worked. And he came on to explain about the fact, and most of you probably, regardless of what your background is right now, most of the people that follow me and stuff like that, I kind of seen that, you have good hearts, right? And you want to help people. Most of the people that I congregate with and so on nowadays have good hearts and want to do things. What I've come to realize too, and I realized this a long time ago, even probably before being a, kind of a Christian, was the fact that you can't give to the poor if you're one of them. Can't give to the poor if you're one of them. And at the same time, if your needs aren't met, like I said at the very beginning, the problem is you can't necessarily, in a lot of cases, fulfill your destiny. And of all the people that I come in contact over all the years, you'd be shocked at how many people are not doing what they're passionate about, but they've surrendered their lives to just making ends meet. Okay, they're making ends meet. And I see people making comments and saying hi, and I can't go through everything because otherwise we'll be on another rabbit trail. And what I found out too was there were some things that in the Bible that you can clearly point out, okay, that prosperity, meaning, making money and being a good steward with that money, is a promise if you operate in certain specific laws of what they would call the kingdom, right? The other thing too is a lot of people, once they kind of become like, Christian or so on, and a lot of religion basically has taught people that money's bad. How many times have you heard that? Well, that guy's, that rich guy there, he's greedy, right? Well, he just wants more money, right? Okay, let me throw this out there. I'm going to give you a principle, or I'm going to give you something to think about, an analogy. Money is not good or bad. It's just a thing. It's a bartering tool, right? It's a currency. It's the same as a brick, right? And in most cases with money a lot of times will amplify what somebody's heart is in certain issues, right? Greed or giving kind of thing, right? So back to the brick. If I had a brick, I've got a couple options with this based on heart issues. Okay, based on heart issues. I can take that brick and build a school that will benefit people, right? Or I could take that brick and smack you upside the head and rob you, right? The brick is not the issue. It's the heart of the issue, right? You always hear that as, like there's, and people will pull Bible scriptures out of context so often to say that well, this guy, the rich young ruler, God, Jesus said, give everything you got. And he went around way sad, right? Well, it doesn't mean that there was anything wrong with him being rich. What it meant was Jesus was pointing out the fact that his heart was dialed into, that was what he was trusting. That's what he was doing. Okay. So you have to look at these from different perspectives, because the Bible clearly says that Jesus, or God himself, said to Abram, which then turned into Abraham, I will bless you and make your name great, right? I will give you the riches of heaven, right? Tithing is another aspect of it, where you give 10%. That's actually, if I'm not mistaken, it's the only scripture in the Bible it's the last book of the Old Testament, where it says, why can't I remember the last book of the Old Testament right off the top of my head? I know what it is, but it's not, is it Malachi? I think it might be Malachi. I think it's Malachi, but anyhow, yeah, it is Malachi. Malachi, and I'm going to pull it over here for you. Right here in Malachi, you can see my little it's all messed up here. It says these people. So this is God talking to those people right there, and he says to them, and he said they were complaining to God about why they were not prospering, and then he came out and said, the reason you are is because you are not tapping in I'm going to summarize this. You're not tapping into kingdom law, because he says in there, you have robbed me in tithes and offerings. Because, and this is probably too long of a lesson. I don't want to go into it too long because I got other stuff to cover. But there was a transfer of wealth basically in Adam and Eve's day when Adam sinned, that kind of thing, which put the earth under a curse, right? We've all heard that. But God was telling these guys that what they had to do was he had a way for them to supersede that. Same thing as law of lift, right? You can be ignorant of flight for years and years and years and years. But if you understand, eventually there is a law that supersedes it. It doesn't nullify another law, but it supersedes a law. The law of lift supersedes the law of gravity, right? If you do it and operate it correctly. So what most of these principles are that, that are laid out in the Bible, if operated correctly, will give you benefit. Okay. And then to finish that Malachi one, God was saying to these people who were the Israelites who were complaining was how, you've robbed me in tithes and offerings. And they were like, well, how did we rob you? And he says in tithes and offerings, because he said, test me in this, that if you do it, that I will pour out the wind. I will open up and pour out, open up the windows of heaven, pour out such blessing. You don't have room enough to contain it. But religion has taught people, or a lot of people go to churches, or they've just heard that, you're commanded to give, that God has to have your money. He doesn't need your money. Obviously, he has streets of gold, right? He doesn't need your money. What he's doing is he's giving you principles that you can operate. You can do like the law of lift, generosity as an example. Let me go into this one and then I'm going to move on to my next topic. Generosity, right? A lot of people like giving. Jesus said this in Luke. Give, I think it's Luke 6:38, in fact. Give, and okay, so that's what you hear. That's what most people hear. Give, and then they're like this. Geez, God wants my money again. All that preacher wants is my money, right? But it says this. Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. And with the same measure that you give, it shall be given back to you. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over. Pressed down, shaken together, and running over, right? Think about it like this. If you were a farmer is operating in the same principle as sowing and reaping in the biblical way, right? It's just when you give, you receive. What happens a lot of times is people, they have no expectancy that God's going to operate on their behalf to get them blessed because they're operating in a principle, right? If I run down the runway in a plane and I've got it set up and I've got the wings at the right angles and enough thrust, that plane will take off. That's what I'm hoping will happen, right? Because I can rely on that law. It's the same thing with giving. But what happens is people get this religion doctrine mindset that says, hey, if I give, I'm out of money. It clearly says. The other thing it says in, I can't remember which one is this one, might be in, I think it's in Corinthians, but I'm not going to go. I don't have any of these popped out. I'm just popping them in my head as I go. I think it's in, you can see my Bible's all broke. You can't see it, but anyhow, it says, Paul was talking to the Corinthians. He says, if you sow sparingly, you'll reap sparingly. Now, this is the same principle too in business, right? A lot of people, they, it's just a matter of, hey, if I give 5 presentations in my networking business, my sales business, or whatever it might be, I want, and you wonder, why you only got 1 sale or 1 customer, right? You shouldn't be shocked because you didn't sow, you didn't occupy it, you didn't do what you were supposed to do to get those numbers up there. If you give 50 presentations, you're going to obviously reap more. Back to the kernel of corn. I'm bringing her back around. Kernel of corn, basically a farmer, what they do is they see that they have a seed. So it's the same principle. When somebody gives something to somebody, if God puts it on your heart to sow to somebody, or you sow into a ministry or things like that, then when you have that kernel of corn, you put it in the ground, and it says that the farmer doesn't have a clue how it's going to grow, but it produces all by itself. First the leaf, then the head, and then the ear on the corn, right? In a nutshell, summarize it. But what happens is when you plant one seed into the ground, especially corn, when it grows, it'll usually have 3 or 4 ears on it that are loaded with hundreds, if not thousands, of kernels. That principle will never go away. It's the same as gravity. These principles and these laws operate 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, whether you're ignorant of those or not. Okay. So I wanted to just throw that out there because I was all fired up about this past weekend because I got to hear some of this and some of this remembrance of the teachings that I had, that I'd been through and things like that. So what I want to do is I'm going to go dual screen on you for a second. I think you can see my screen. And I wanted to talk to you about some other stuff. So let me see if I got to make sure that I'm going to shrink myself. And all right, it should be, let me just double check that I see it coming up on my other screen here. Okay. So I just revamped my training site that you're welcome to go check out. If you go to MikeHealyTraining.com, and I have a lot of stuff on here that I redid and things like that. Like I did a business conference called Business Tips. It was a Christian men's business conference, and I took it out. It's about a 20-minute video. You can play it right there. But if what I just said to you about the Bible and prosperity and stuff kind of trips your trigger, I would highly recommend that you click on this one right here. And it's called Faith, right? And you can see our testimony of me going to the church with my wife, Stacy. And we were actually featured on my pastor's television show. I did a seminar at one of the first original provision conferences right there. But there's some good videos on here I made a few years back that have gotten quite a few views on them over the years. Like, does God want you rich? Okay. If you can't answer that, then you can't, because I was debating going back and forth. Well, if I have a lot of money, then maybe I'm greedy and God won't love me. But if I stay broke, the Bible says that, it's worse than an unbeliever not be able to take care of your family. So there's the mind blown, right? So you have to know these things. There it is right there. 2 Corinthians 9:6. That was actually the verse I couldn't remember. 2 Corinthians 9:6, give generously, reap generously. Hidden scripture that generated $50,000. Okay. In this one, I teach specific principles on what I did when I had a need, when I was in some dire straits financially, and I looked at what the Bible said and I operated on principles. And I had a tax bill that came out of nowhere that had our family under complete stress. And I literally needed like $50,000 to get it. And I prayed about it and did all these things. And I tell you exactly what I did to do this. And what people don't understand is money doesn't grow on trees. You've heard that. Actually, it does, because it's paper. but a lot of people are misunderstood in their Christian walk, or you hear prosperity teaching, and there's nothing wrong with the prosperity teaching, but they never teach you how to reap. They never teach you that you're in the earth, right? That God's not just going to, usually fly a bunch of birds over your head and drop $100 bills out of the sky. Too many people have a mailbox mentality of thinking that God's just going to show up with a bag of money. That's not how it works. What I have come to realize is that God will direct your steps. It says clearly, that God will direct your steps to give you ideas, concepts, business ideas, new direction, new wisdom to capture that. It's all through the Bible. Nobody ever, like Paul, Peter. When Peter had taxes to pay himself, he approached Jesus. He went to the source and said, what do we do? We're in trouble. We got to pay these taxes. And Jesus told him exactly what to do instantly. He said, go down to the lake, throw your hook, you throw your line in. So he gave a fishing pole. He gave a specific direction. The first fish you catch, there's going to be a gold coin in its mouth, right? If he would have gone and done something else or whatever, or thought that was a stupid idea, he wouldn't have gotten it. And it said, and he was able to get that coin and pay the taxes for all of them, for everybody that had that. I mean, if you think about it, it's not too far fetched, because if somebody accidentally dropped a gold coin over in a lake and the sun hits it, it reflects just like a Rapallo fishing lure, right? It's the same thing. So the fish probably ate it, but he got direction. Okay, here's another one about how we were able to give and we continued and so on. So you can go on here on the faith area and check these things out and so on. Hidden money secret in Psalm 23. And here's another one right here. This one I put together because I had people that said, well, I've tried that before. I've given before. And it says your prayers and gifts to the poor have not gone unnoticed by God, Acts 10. But the title of this one right here is I'm giving to my church, so why isn't it working? I explain it to you. So I'm just kind of throwing this stuff out there, that kind of thing. And I did a whole 1 hour teaching at a church a couple years back that you can check out. Okay, so I wanted to just point those things out. I didn't necessarily mean to, but I wanted to. Okay, all right. So now I'm going to switch gears completely, kind of. Okay, because in the title, and it probably attracted a handful of you, I put crypto chaos. So here's what I'm going to tell you. I am not a financial expert by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, and I've had plenty of ups and downs and so on, and I do the best that I can. But I started in 23 years ago when I got involved in networking, direct selling. I'm gonna go solo on you for a second. When I got involved in network marketing, multi-level marketing, whatever you want to call it, what happened with me was I never, ever, ever, ever joined a network marketing company because I wanted to be a network marketer. I joined because I wanted to learn leverage, financial increase, being an entrepreneur, public speaking, marketing, all these benefits that people overlook. Everybody thinks that if they join something and they don't make, $500 the first month, that it's a failure. Well, you're a failure if you give up that quick and not study things out and to learn the things that are beneficial to you. Okay. So one of the other things, actually, let me talk to you about that one for a second. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to come back to the crypto thing. But I had a guy yesterday. I did a 3-way call with somebody with the business I'm in, the networking company that I'm doing. And a lot of times what I do is when I join a networking company, I always kind of look for strategic things. Like I look for growth potential, momentum potential. There's kind of a checklist that I go through. Am I too early? Am I too late? Is a product something good, or is a service something good? That kind of thing. And I kind of look at that, and I'm kind of known for helping launch networking companies and get them going and that kind of thing. But what I was telling the guy, I was like, look, I joined networking way back because I just wanted enough money to cover a car payment. That was my original goal. And I had no idea that it was going to turn into a 23-year primary income career. Right. And the other benefit is I've met thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I've been able to, create great friends on those kind of, through different things and stuff like that. But what people don't understand is that wealth is created basically two ways: people at work or money at work. Okay. And if you aren't leveraged in one of those two or both, all you do is work what they call linear income, meaning you're trading hours for dollars, day after day after day after day, and you just have a grind. You have a grind. You have a grind. You have a grind. It's pathetic. It's painful. I didn't mean to say it like that, but it's hard. What I saw what appealed to me about networking and why I jumped on board with it was because I was watching people that appeared that they didn't have any kind of real business backgrounds, but they just had some ambition, enough ambition to blow the fuzz off a peanut, and they stayed consistent with some certain activities, introducing people to their business. And I mean, I've met so many people that are good friends of mine that were broke from every background you could think of, that are averaging over 6 figures a year in network marketing businesses. And I have quite a few friends that are averaging 6 figures monthly. in those businesses because it's leverage. It's a home business, okay? And if anything, if you didn't learn anything in 2020, it was people are forced sometimes to work at home and don't have a plan B, right? You got to think outside the box, okay? So I'm going to I want to show you my screen again real quick. Is since I have been doing networking for so long, on my Mike Healy training page, under trainings, I have a thing right here. You can click on MLO training. And I have tons of free videos here. Okay. Understand that I have done this for over 23 years. I have personally enrolled over 2,000 people, but I have like this video I put here at the top because it's like, I don't know, like 4 minutes long, but I tell the story of my big breakthrough in networking. Did I flip myself? I think I'm sorry. I pushed the wrong button. Boom. Let me try that one again. All right. That's why I have my phone over here where I can watch it. So it should have flipped. But basically the reason I have this, if you go to the top here, let me go through, show you, see it in, click on trainings, MLM training. Okay. And this page will come up, free network marketing training videos. This right here is my story, basically telling you how I was so broke back in 2000 and what would have been 4 or 5. I was personal trainer at that time. And I mean, I had to borrow money. I had to borrow $40 of an advance because I didn't have enough money to pay for gas and milk for the kids and get home from my boss. Right. And it was a little studio thing. And someone approached me with the networking company and it made sense. I got in, I got excited. It took me about 6 months to get the thing rolling. Very, very part-time. But ended up making $1.5 million in that company. Okay. And that I tell you exactly what I did in that story right there. Okay. And then I've got training courses down here. And I'm just throwing this out at you guys because I like to give. I did this course right here is from my experience in networking, but the crowd that I presented to was actually an insurance company with all their top salespeople. They were in a great big cabin out in the middle of nowhere, and they hired me to come in and train them on building organizations and teams. And there's like the videos are very short. They're not very long. You can kind of see them all. And then I've got a Facebook group, which I think I popped in there, how to recruiting systems. I got the psychology of recruiting and so on. So you guys get what I'm saying here. But I just wanted to talk to you about leveraged income in this capacity right here, and so on. Now, let's move on to the other thing, the crypto chaos. Okay, because which one do I want to show you? I'm going to show you this right here. I want you to write this down or remember this because I want you to check this out when you get a chance. Okay, coinmarketcap.com allows you to look at cryptocurrency prices 24 hours, 7 days, and then you can click on them. You can watch their daily last 7 days charts and so on. Okay. Here's what I'm going to throw out to you about crypto. I have been extremely skeptical of crypto and any kind of this kind of currency because it's mislabeled as a currency. I've come to realize that it is probably the most incredible asset protection thing you can ever get your hands on, let alone the potential for investment / trading. Okay. And I want to go solo on because I got something I got to talk to you about. I wrote this down on one of my notepads. Okay. I want you to hear, I want you to listen to this. Okay. So many people out there are looking for ways to increase their income, right? That's why I do a home business. That's why from my home businesses of my network marketing career has taught me to learn marketing skills, which people, I actually get hired out to do those kind of things. So I got an income stream there. You see what I'm saying? But what do you do with that money once you make it? And how do you get your money to make babies? Because here's something that I wrote down that I thought that I have this training I'm going to show you in a second, but I wrote some stuff down from this training I learned that was pretty good. And this is not a networking company, by the way. I'm not trying to pitch you on a crypto MLM or anything like that, or any company that's affiliated with one. In 2010, I'm going to show you an 8-year thing to get you to open your mind if you have not taken a good look at this. In 2010 to 2018, so that's what we're comparing, the dollar, which is what they call a fiat currency. Fiat currency means that it has to be backed up by something. Well, we all know here in the United States specifically that there is nothing right now besides hope and a prayer that's backing the money supply. It is going to crash. It is going to crash. There is no, you can't print trillions of dollars and give it away out of thin air and think that it has value. People are becoming wise to that. So the value of the dollar is going to continually go down just like it always has. That's called inflation. But listen to this. A dollar in 2010 was worth $1. In 2018, a dollar was worth $1, but its value had dropped 9% because of inflation, right? Now it's dropped even more because of inflation. Gold, which most people consider, you have to ask yourself this, is gold an investment or is it asset protection? If you go look at the 100 years of gold, I'm not sure I would get on the side of it being an investment, but more of an asset protection. Same as silver, okay? But I'm going to use gold as a stat. In 2010, an ounce coin, an ounce or whatever, and 1 ounce of gold was worth $1,255. In 2018 is worth $1,355, $1,355. It went up 8% in 8 years. It went up 8%. Ready for this one? Prepare for this. Bitcoin in 2010, which was hyped up and everybody thought that it was probably a fad. In 2010, we are now in 2021. Bitcoin was 1 penny. In 2018, it was $4,000.01. That was a 40 million% increase. 40 million% increase. If you've heard those stories of people that have made hundreds of millions of dollars in crypto, they're true. There are people that have done that. Okay. But here's what you don't understand. And I'm going to show you some charts here real quick, is that technology is moving all of us to digital currency. Okay. Everybody's aware of that, right? You have a smartphone. And in most cases, you don't have to even use your credit card anymore. You can just take your phone and scan it on stuff, right? Okay. What's happening too is because the world is interconnected digitally, people have come up with other ways to circumvent, not necessarily destroy, but to circumvent corruption that is happening with things that can be manipulated, such as fiat currency. Banking systems, right? Like I just had to cash a check. I had to write a check from one bank account to another just so I could, because I wanted to just transfer money, right? It took like 7 days, and my wife had to call in like 4 times to figure out why it was on hold. Had the money here. All I want to do is put it here. Took 7 days, and the bank probably used that money for whatever they were doing, right? You're getting maybe 1 or 2% on your money if you leave it in a bank account in a CD. How pathetic, right? But what's also what happened with what digital currency is there's this thing, okay, and I'm not going to get detailed on, you can look it up, called blockchain. Basically, blockchain is a digital ledger that can't be cheated upon, that follows all transactions through all these things, and it's connecting these things. Okay. And here's the thing. What's happening, and I want to show you this. Now I'm going to show you this right here. I'm going to go back to, I gotta go show you the screen. Duh. Let me go on here. Solo off, and that one. Okay. So it should be up. I'm going to show you Bitcoin real quick. This is going to rock your world. Okay. If you click on Coin Market Cap, what's cool is you can go through and you can look at it. Bitcoin right now is worth $54,000 for what they call coin. Here's the misconception about people, specifically people my age and older, is you look at that number and think, I don't have $54,000 to invest. What cryptocurrency allows you to do is what they call fractional investing. Fractional, meaning because it's digital, you can buy $5 today worth of Bitcoin and the value is XYZ, right? What you have to look at if you're going to get into this market is study percentages. Study percentages, but I want to show you something. Okay. In the last day, this is the chart for Bitcoin. Look at the volume. 40 billion, right? 40 billion today. 40 billion today. Look at this. Steadily going up. Okay. 7 days, I think it's down, right? That's why the chart's red. So it's down from its high up here, right? But here's what I want to show you. 1 month, fairly even. 3 months, up a little, right? Look at the 1 year chart, right? A year ago today, Bitcoin was, let me see here. I got it. A year ago today, Bitcoin is up over 500. I got this on my website. Bitcoin is up over 584% in the last 12 months. 584%. That means that if somebody invested right here, they bought $5, $50, 500,000 and did nothing but disappear, right? In value, that thing would have gradually gone like this up to here, and percentage value wise, that 1,000 would have multiplied by that percentage. You can't get returns. Look at, and I'm going to go back to here. And hopefully I'm keeping you on here. Is anybody getting this? You guys, just to me, it's mind boggling. Okay. I want to talk to you about this one right here. This is the one that I think is going to, and I'm not making any predictions, or definitely not a financial guy, but Ethereum. Let me explain what Ethereum is, because they all have really weird names, right? Ethereum is basically what is doing all the transactions of crypto worldwide. It's kind of like the internet web. Okay. Now, I know you can see me good because I can see myself here on here. I heard that the internet was a fad because I was old enough to remember when it was starting to come out. I remember when people in my network marketing business would tell me to stay off of Facebook, that it was a fad and it was a waste of time. You have to remember this. The internet completely changed the way we do things by 1 billion-fold. But crypto today is going to be bigger. And you know why? Because the internet did not have the internet to grow it and make people aware of it. It evolved slowly as it exponentially grew. Crypto is exponentially going to grow at light speed due to the fact that we're already interconnected and people can see this. This is just stuff. Check out the percentage growth on, I'm going to go 1 day, gained a little bit back. Like I hopefully if some of you that are into this stuff got the discounts of the sale that went on last week. But you see how this goes. And I'm going to show you some trends too, by the way. 1 month, right? Went up. 3 months. Look at this. Staying steady. Look at that from 1 year ago. Right here, 1 year ago was around $234 right here. So a year ago, and I pulled that up. Remember I pulled that up? Ethereum is up over 1,100% in 12 months. If you put $1,000 into that, $500, $5, right? What? Look at that, and did nothing. You see what I'm saying? Okay, and I'm not gonna hit all these, but XRP, same thing, 483%. Stellar, and all of these do specific things on what they call the blockchain and mining. 600%, 2,500%. Dogecoin, the meme, and I want to joke about this, but I'm going to tell you where things are going, in my opinion. Dogecoin grew in 12 months 11,000%. 11,000%. Okay. Now here's the thing. Dogecoin is based around a dog meme. That's for real. But here's what I need you to remember and think about down the road is that many things already right now are being what they called tokenized. Tokenized means that they're taking physical things such as memes, such as art, such as, and probably going to be really big, really fast, real estate, and they're creating it, they're tokenizing it so that people all over the world, which is what you're seeing here, can participate in it and buy fractional pieces of it, because you can, but the thing is about these things, the difference between a fiat currency and a crypto, just in a nutshell, is because with fiat right now, they're printing money and it's not backed by anything, which is why it's going to continually lose its value to the point that it will eventually just disappear. It's inevitable. You can't just keep doing this. Whereas this stuff like Bitcoin, Ethereum, they have finite amounts of like the coin that's going to be out there that somebody can participate in. All right. So I know I went really far on that, but I want to show you something else. One more thing. There's also another website called tradingview.com, which is kind of cool. Does the same thing, but here you can actually chart stuff. If you click on the chart, you can actually see, like right here, you can see the day, 5 days, whatever. But I'm going to show you something real quick. What's happening in the markets. And let's go out a little. When in doubt, zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. A lot of people will get in and hold. That's called investing. But if you learn how to multiply this by trading, I'm going to show you the training that I bought that I thought was fantastic. Is if you look, watch this. You see how it goes up, 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 down, and but it's kind of level off, and then all of a sudden it spikes, and then it basically gives up 50%. Then it levels off, levels off, levels off. Then it spikes and basically gives off 50%. Then it levels off, levels off, levels off. Then it spikes and gives off 50%, right? This is the 6 month. Look at the year to date and tell me if you see any other trends. See this? It's doing the exact same thing right here. It spikes, levels off, gives 50%, right? In little tiny increments. Goes up, gives up 50%. Goes up, gives up about 50%. Goes up, gives up 50%. Levels off, gives up 50%. But look at the trend lines that are going up. What people don't understand is if you learn how to read these, which is what I got to learn, you don't have to wait for the percentages annually. You can start hitting these things daily, weekly, monthly, that kind of thing. All right, so let me show you something real quick, and then I got to move on because I still got one other thing I wanted to cover. But if you go to MikeHealyTraining.com, you click on trainings, there's a crypto training that I pulled from these guys that are experts in it, that have been doing it for a while. I absolutely loved it. It was the best training I did. Okay, you can go there and just click on that. Okay, so what did I want to show you? I wanted to talk to you about one more thing. I'm going to go face to face with you real quick. All right. Is anybody else's mind just blown at that stuff? Because what I see, what I think people should do is be diversified. Okay. And when I say diversified, I'm not the kind of guy that can go work multiple network marketing companies. That's not what that, to me, that's not diversification. To me, I find a very good company and I hammer it, which is what I'm doing right now, right? I got one that I know I'm going to crush, and it's already crushing, but I hammer it. And then what I have is when you make your money, if you just put it in the bank and let it sit there, the devaluation of the dollar is just going to take all that hard money you did, and you're in trouble with it. It's probably going to go down and go down. But if you figure out how to protect your assets by figuring out how to invest in gold and silver, figuring out how to put it in here in crypto, whatever it might be. I'm just trying to get you to think outside the box. I'm just trying to get you to think outside the box, because too many people have gone, they're just going through the motions. They've been just conditioned to go through the motions, and it is no longer a Blockbuster world. It is a Netflix world. I say that with my marketing trainings and all that stuff. Okay. Speaking of which, I wanted to talk to you about one more thing with marketing, and then we're basically done. And thank you so much for being on here. Is right now the biggest marketing platforms are obviously Facebook, and like YouTube, right? Those are number one and number two. Instagram, which is owned by Facebook. But here's what I'm going to tell you. They, a lot of those guys have made quite a few people mad at certain things, restrictions, same thing with Twitter and things like that. You should always be open to new social platforms that are coming out. And you should be one of the first early adopters to at least figure out what it is to see if it's something that makes sense for you. I think one of the ones that's kind of cool is there's a one called Clubhouse. I don't think you can get it on any other phone besides it's an app that you put on your iOS device, an Apple device, iPhone, that live people go in there and do just interaction audibly. Okay. I think that's cool. I think that's got a little merit to it. But I think the hidden one right now that I'm now starting to learn that I wish when I first looked at it, I would have dove into it a little more aggressively is TikTok. Okay. And TikTok allows you to put 1 minute videos on there that you can hashtag and add a couple graphics and add a few things. But what I'm doing is this is the strategy that I'm doing. I'm just going to give you this stuff is content is king, but at the same time, you don't need to continually make new content for every single thing that you do. What I do is I teach, when I teach courses and marketing and stuff, I teach repurposing content. Okay, repurposing content, because what that means is I might do like this right here. What I'm doing right now with you guys is me giving about a 1 hour Facebook Live, YouTube Live on here. What I'm going to then do is I'm going to pull the audio and repurpose it on my podcast. And I have 2 podcasts. I've got the MLM Mastermind and the Mike Healy Audio Experience. All of them they're on Spreaker, Spotify, iTunes, right? So I just splintered this into 3 things. In this video, I'm probably going to pull out segments and probably make at least 4 or 5, maybe 10 small videos. I'm going to take those 10 videos, those 10 small ones, and put them as 1 minute clips on TikTok. And once they're on TikTok, I'm going to download them from TikTok. Just on my iPhone, it just automatically downloads, and upload them on Facebook and upload them on YouTube Shorts, which is now a thing. And I'm going to put it on Instagram. So one piece of content, one good thing where you talk about a handful of things and you put a story out, you put a video out, can be repurposed in multiple ways. All right, let me show you multiple ways real quick, if you don't mind. I'll show you where I show you the video that I did right here, marketing. If you go to MikeHealyTrain.com, click on marketing. I do a lot of lead gen, online marketing and stuff like that. And obviously I've got my pages on here, but it's the second video right here. It's called the social media content strategy. I break down through a PowerPoint exactly what I'm talking about, what I'm explaining to you now about splintering. And I made this like, I think a year ago. And I didn't even go into using it for TikTok. You can just use, you can substitute anything. But if you go through that training, you will see that you can take and one piece of content, we call it a pillar piece, and distribute it to multiple things. So you look like you're out there all over the place, right? Like the thing I did this weekend for the conference, I made a video on it. I posted it. I put it out there, right? And I put a minute of it. I had somebody just walk around with a camera. I took 1 minute of it and posted it on TikTok. And then I pulled it off TikTok, put it on Instagram, put it on Facebook. Going to put it on my, and then I did a 1 hour breakout session there in that thing too, where I had some people where I interviewed them who are marketers, and I basically taught marketing and pulled their information. There were some experts that I put on there, and I'll be able to take that, put it on my YouTube channel, put it on my Facebook channel, put it on, in 2 or 3 Facebook pages and groups. I'll be able to splinter that. I'll be able to pull the audio and put it on my podcast. I mean, the podcast, I use a Spreaker, by the way. If you look at this, I'm going to show you what, in case you ever want to make a podcast, go to Spreaker right here. You can see it's called Spreaker.com. A piece of cake to do. We're right here. I click on my podcasts, and I've got 3 of them, right? I've got my energy advisor company, Bidpoint. We have our own podcast. There's a Mike Healy audio experience and MLM mastermind. Okay. And if I click on that, all I got to do is click right here. I click right here, upload episode, and literally, if it's like, even if it's like a half an hour audio, it'll upload in less than 60 seconds. It's really fast. But right here, you see at the very front of my homepage, this business conference video, I put it on YouTube. It's posted here from YouTube on my blog page, and then I pulled the audio, and right here I made it as a podcast, and you can see where the distribution is. And by the way, Spreaker for the year is like $50 or something like this. So it's on Apple, right? If I click on here, copy, watch this. This is cool. You guys getting something out of this? Give me some comments. Right there. This is right on Apple Podcasts, right? I'll pull up I was listening to some heavy metal earlier. Watch this. The MLM Mastermind. Right there. I am on Spotify for free. I'm on Spotify for free. If I click on it, I've got all these on here, right? So I'm just putting my story out there using multiple things, and that automatically distributes to Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio. And all you do is click a button in here and say connect, and it's free. It sends them to all those. So you just have to get creative. So I told you I was going to talk about marketing, but if you go into marketing, I got recruiting funnel trainings. I've got digital stuff, MLM stuff, because obviously that's my background. I'm going to keep adding to stuff here, but I just wanted to it's been a long time since I actually promoted my own web page that actually had some real good content on here. But did you guys get something out of this today? Give me some comments or something like that. I agree. Katrina said, I agree about TikTok. I just couldn't figure TikTok out. There's some good trainings on there. I'll probably end up doing a training on it. It's actually fairly easy. You literally put the app down, and then you put a plus button, and just remember you got to put a 1-minute video in there, and you can add text. Thank you, Yvonne. Wow, that's exactly what I was trying to get out of you. But I just wanted to come on here because I know I kind of get sucked into people thinking that I'm just a networker, right? When they don't understand that I'm an entrepreneur and I think of everything. Overwhelmed, but I see a million applications about future ideas I have. Yes. Thank you, Annie. Appreciate that. Monica. Hey, Monica, how are you? Awesome. I told you, you got to be Monica. I know your jewelry business. You need to, and she makes her own jewelry. You need to be doing short TikToks, showing your jewelry, showing how, make a video that explains why you're making it, how you do that, right? Julianne, awesome. Overwhelmed in a good way, right? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, but you better start eating. That's what a lot of people don't do, is they don't take the time. Gary Schmidt, I feel smashed with info. All right, let's okay, Gary, great. I'm going to pop Gary's up real quick. I'm going to put him on the screen. Great comment, but here's what I'm going to tell you. What you should do is say, okay, I'm going to focus on one of the things that Mike showed. One. Because a lot of times people, they freeze up because they watch something and then they don't take any kind of action whatsoever. All right, Sue, I'm going to try to read that since I don't know if it's, I think this is awesome training, and I've known how this works. However, you are young, good looking, and a great speaker. What about us? What aren't? LOL. I'm serious. Thank you. I am married happily though, so it's all good. But TikTok training. I need TikTok training. All right. I'll do one. Maybe I'll put a Facebook Live out or something. We'll do a TikTok training, or maybe even a Zoom, because I can go dual screen, or I'll just make a training video on it and go through it. It's not that hard. And obviously, like anything else, it's just, I think if you just start running with scissors, you'll get some things accomplished and make some things work for you guys. So anyhow, hey, I appreciate you guys all jumping on here. I missed some calls that came in while I was on here. I got some business stuff I got to do. Trying to hit some goals in my networking. There you go. Mark Conley's got it right. Stick as much in your mouth as you can and start chewing. Exactly. Go for it, right? Go for it. That's all you want to do. So anyhow, I tell you what, if you guys just go out there and make it happen, I think you're going to be really happy with the results. I know people that are just specifically using TikTok for their networking business and just making these short, quirky little 1-minute videos, and they're getting hundreds and hundreds of customers that are generating thousands of sales for their products. Okay, so I've watched people demonstrate their product. Like the product I use is like a lozenge, and people are popping them in their mouth, that kind of thing, and that kind of thing. So anyhow, perfect. However, you're looking a great speaker. What about us that aren't? So I'm gonna pull that up and answer that real quick. So Sue said, what about us? Here's the thing. Okay. It says, because you're saying that I'm young and good looking and a great speaker. Guess what? I've always been good looking, but it doesn't mean I've always been a good speaker. Okay. That was a joke, obviously. But what I would tell you is this, is you will relate to people I won't. Okay. Everybody has a unique way to deliver something, a unique personality. What you need to do is evaluate what you believe are your strengths and things that you are passionate about, and go only after those things. What I see people do is they try to falsely compare themselves with other people or other speakers, when in fact, all they need to do is be good at who they are. Be the best you that you can be. Be the best you that you can be, and it will fall into line. That's what I had to learn, because I was not getting any traction when I was trying to emulate and be those people. Like, I'm a dork half the time. That's my wife, right? Like, I'm a homebody. I'm fairly much an introvert. I literally don't like to go out that much. I like to just stay home. But I figured out that I enjoy doing these interactive videos and stuff like that. And then you just get going, and you just figure out what you're passionate about, and figure out what you're passionate about, where you can focus your strengths on. It's the same thing as, like, we all know who Jimi Hendrix is, right? Well, if somebody heard Jimi Hendrix play the guitar for the first time, they might have just said, hey, you might want to pick up piano. But he wasn't passionate about that. And maybe he saw somebody who was playing piano and thought, hey, that's the way I should go, is play the piano. But if Jimi Hendrix wouldn't have followed what he was passionate about and got good at it and dialed that in, nobody would have known Purple Haze, right? All right. I'm watching for the first time. Mrs. C and I use this. Got to keep watching and start from these ideas. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So I think we are good. Mike South, how you doing? I saw you just jumped on here. So I went about 1 hour. But hey, thank you guys so much for being on here. Hopefully you got some great comment. If you're watching a replay, put replay in the comments, make some comments down below. I do answer questions as I see them come in, even if they're on a replay, as well as this video is probably going to be on my YouTube channel. Feel free to make comments on there also, and maybe give me a like and a thumbs up on those videos and so on. So anyhow, share this video if you want to, if you got any good content out there. Appreciate it. And everybody have a great one, and be on the lookout for the next one that I do. All right. See you.